I think everybody.
السلام
ان شاء الله
عليكم
بسم الله
ورحمة
حبيبي.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله
وعليكم
والصلاة
السلام ورحمة الله.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. So, just a quick review and follow up from what we've said last time. So, last time we talked about the happiness and it is in the heart, the spirit, the spiritual part. And we talked about the say of Ibn Taymiyyah when he said there is a paradise in this life. Whoever didn't enter this paradise, he will not enter it in the hereafter. And he was challenging his enemy when they put him in prison when he said, "What would my enemies do to me? I have my happiness and paradise is in my heart. Wherever I go, it goes with me. So if they put me in prison, I'll be actually alone with my lover Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's khulwa with me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if they killed me, it's actually I'll become a martyr, shaheed, the best and the most honored way to die. And if they expelled me from my land, this is to it's a tourism and inviting new people. And we talked about this state of heart and we said that this is the entire series is to try to reach this state. And we said the first step is to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help because we can't do it without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah didn't grant us this happiness, as we said last time, it's rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will not be able to do it. So today we will talk about the dua, supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we all know, life is driven by two things, either wishes that we wish to have or problems that we wish to solve. I want everyone to think we have those things. Who doesn't have a wish in his life? Who doesn't want to live a happy life? Actually, most people they spend their life looking for happiness. This is when they go to work to get more money, thinking money will make them happy. They get married, thinking marriage will make them happy. So everyone in this life is looking actually for happiness. Who doesn't look like for better house, have a better work, better car, more money, being healthy, wealth, getting wealth, wishes for their kids to grow up to go to the best of the universities. We all have those wishes. Who doesn't have wishes in his life? Even wishes in the hereafter. If you have everything in this life, we're all looking for forgiveness. We all wish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive our sin, will let us enter paradise, and the protection from hellfire. Those are wishes that we wish for the hereafter. And who doesn't have problems? Either problems at work, problems at home. People they suffer from sadness, depression, health issues, financial issues, relationship issues. Even they might have problems stopping a sin. Sometimes you have a sin and you try hard to stop a sin, but you have a problem there. You have a problem waking up for Fajr. We have problems everywhere. We have wishes that we wish to grant. But subhanallah, people here actually they imagine things and their imagination led them to imagine a fake genie that will fulfill all their wishes. And actually they were limited there as well. Or they might have a magic wand like Harry Potter or whatever. You just point to something and you wish and it will happen. But all of those are fake. They're just imagination. And even with their imagination, they were limited. But what they didn't know, that Alhamdulillah, we have a lot better than their fake genie. We have unlimited wishes. So listen to the following verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, call on me, ask me, and I will answer your prayer. I will fulfill your request. It's a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Promise from whom? From Allah. Do you trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill your need? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, just ask me and I will answer your prayer. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said that one day there is a man went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is Allah close to us, so we ask him softly, or he's a far away, so we have to call him loudly. And subhanallah, the prophet, it's an easy answer for the prophet, but he stayed silent. And Allah revealed the answer from seven heaven when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. And if my servants are asking concerning me, I am indeed close. See the word close. I'm close. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't want the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to answer this because Allah is close to us. If you look at the Quran, most of the questions, يسألونك عن الأهلة قل يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل, if they ask about this, say to them, O Muhammad. This is the only place that Allah said, no, it's not the answer by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I am close and I am the one to answer subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am indeed close. I answer their prayers. أجيب دعوة الداع. Any da, anyone. It's here something for, it's for unknown. Anyone who will make a supplication, إذا دعان. This is the only condition. Whoever asks me, I will fulfill his need. Subhanallah. This is what Allah gave us. We don't have to look for a fake genie. We don't have to look for magic wand. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who himself promised us that he will fulfill all our needs. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever asks for something, whoever will do dua, Allah will accept it. And you will get it in three ways. Either you get your whatever you asked for, or Allah will keep it to you in the hereafter. And there's another hadith that people, when they see all the rewards of those dua that was not accepted in life, they will wish that none of their dua was accepted in this life, because it's a lot of rewards in the hereafter. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will push something bad that was going to happen to you. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will not, whenever his slave is raising his hand to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will not let her go empty-handed, back empty-handed. Whoever asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will never let them go back empty-handed. This is the authentic hadith. So it is very important that we always raise our hand. We will not lose anything. As Zakaria said, وَلَمْ أَكُمْ بِدُعَائِكَ رَبِّ شَقِيًّا. I've been asking all the time and I've never went wrong with my dua. The Prophet ﷺ said the only thing that can block something that was written bad for you, the رد قضاء, the destiny, is the dua. That if you made dua, this is the only thing that can, if there's something was written to you, the dua can change it. And there is a famous dua, واصرف عنا اللهم واصرف عني شر ما قضيت. We say it every day in the witr. اللهم واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. Oh Allah, just take away anything that you destined on us that's bad for us. So that the only thing that can change your destiny or your something that was written bad for you is the dua. ولا يزيد في العمر إلا البر. That's why it's very important that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all our needs. It is accepted, and it's accepted even if you didn't get what you wish. It might not be the good for you. And Allah will keep it to you and give you something better. And you never know. There might something that was terribly that will happen to you. And with this dua, Allah will just block this. There is another hadith that the dua will go and fight with the bad qadar, that the bad destiny, that's something that was destined bad that will affect someone, calamity. The dua, they go and they fight in the heavens, and the dua always wins. And we can't. There's no other doors that you can go to except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all poor, and you can't. Have you ever seen a poor person going ask another poor person for help? Who you can ask? He has the treasures of earth and heavens. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the hadith al-Qudsi, You don't have anything. You all just nothing. You are misguided except those who I guided. You are without clothes except those I gave them clothes. And if this that the other hadith that if the entire world, as in the hadith Qudsi, that if the entire world actually entire since the creation of Adam until the day of judgment, they all stood in one land and everyone asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he fulfilled every wish, whatever they asked. Even if they ask for impossibles, this will not affect even the wealth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you know. And he gave an example is like when you put a needle in the ocean and take it back quickly, will it take anything from the ocean? Nothing. But the most important thing I want to talk about today is how to make dua. And it is actually, they gave it different names, but this is how the dua was given in the Quran. It's called munajah, and sometimes it's translated as monologue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is it? It's the freestyle dua. It is the best type of dua that you do in your own language, and it doesn't have any restrictions. You don't have to do it with wudu, you don't have to face qibla. This is the beauty of dua. You ask Allah in any state you have. Even Allah said in the Quran, يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم. Even if you are during your sleep, you just open your eyes a little bit and you became a little bit attention. And there's a long hadith that's very authentic, narrated, muttafaq alayh, that if you said certain dhikr and then you made any dua, it would be accepted while you still half asleep even. And you look at the Ibn Shafi'i when he said, ما لي سوى قرعي لبابك حيلة فلئن رددت فأي باب أقرع. There was, you read the ancestors, how they talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They used to talk these freestyles that they complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the dua in the Quran. Let's look at this in Surah Ali Imran. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Imra'at Imran, look at this verse. إذ قالت امرأة عمران ربي إني نظرت لك ما في بطني. She's talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She's saying, I'm giving to you, completely devoted to you, what's in my womb. And accept it from me, Allah. Just free from any desire. Completely pure for you. And then, when she delivered, she also talked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She said, oh Allah, I delivered her a female. And then Allah put in this verse, Wallahu a'lam bima. Allah knows what she has delivered better than it. He knows what was written even before she was pregnant. But in spite of that, she's talking to Allah. I delivered her untha. And the story is that she was making dua, and that's why she was devoting her to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She thought that this person will be the one who will free al-Masjid al-Aqsa. But when she had a female, she thought, how can she lead like armies? She didn't know that she will be Maryam, Maryam alayhi salam, that she will get the Prophet Isa alayhi salam. And then she said, and male is not like female. See, she's talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even she's telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I called her, سميتها, I named her Maryam, oh Allah. وإني أعيذها بك. And here's the part of the dua. And I ask your protection for her from the devil. See, it's all monologue. It's a speech with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She talks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the dua. What else? Zakaria. When Zakaria is doing the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ذكر رحمة ربك عبده زكريا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا. He called to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in secret. And this is the very important part with the munajah. It has to be in secret between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And see the way that he's talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's appealing to Allah. Oh Allah, I became weak. My bones are weak and my hair is full of gray. And I've never been going wrong, unsuccessful with my dua to you. Oh Allah, I'm worried about my cousins that they might, because I don't have kids, And my wife is burned, as you know, it's he's talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, appealing to Allah. It's not like memorizing something and keep saying it. It's just, it's a speech, it's a monologue between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is one of the miracles. So he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at this, he was on the like very, very old, on the age that he cannot even be part of getting birth. His wife has been all her life barren, can't give birth, and she was old too. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them Yahya alayhi salam. فهب لي وليا يرثني ويرث من آل يعقوب واجعله ربي رضيا. So Allah gave him a prophet. So Allah fulfilled his need and fulfilled his dua immediately. Subhanallah. And the same, if you look at Surah Yusuf, when Yaqub used to say, قل إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله. I only complain and appeal my grief to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how the Anbiya and how it was mentioned of the dua of the Quran. It is a talk, a speech. It's in your own language. By the way, none of those spoke Arabic. So you can't say the dua has to be in Arabic. None of those. I think they were speaking Hebrew, for example. Because some people, they think that the dua has to be in Arabic, has to be in a certain way. Those, they didn't speak Arabic. And it was completely freestyle, as you can see. Even Zawjat Imran, she was saying the names. I named her, and she is female. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I do this, I do that. So it's the talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are so many examples. Also, Mra'at Fir'aun, when she asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she complained about how he was oppressing her. And when she also, for Yusuf, when she was taking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna an-nafsa la'ammaratan bis-su'. So it's all about that. It's about freeing yourself and start talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the best medication of the heart and the best of the dua that comes out of the heart. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you might say, okay, this is not the sunnah maybe. No, this is the dua from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he went to the Ta'if and they hit him, he went to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and started raising her hand. He didn't make dua against them. He said, Allahumma ashku ilayka dhafa quwwati. Oh Allah, I appeal to you my weakness and my strength, and the lack, my limited power, and the treatment of people to me. And he kept talking and the rest of it. Oh Allah, who are you going to leave me to? Are you going to leave me to my enemies? Or someone close who will own my affairs? It's like he's talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what the tabi'in. And you can read Shafi'i, mashallah, he used to have like huge munajah that he wrote it down, that he would say, and they start reading about it. There's from Rab'a al-Adawiyya from Basra. She used to say poems for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, poetry. So those are the things that it's called munajah. It's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is from one of the books of Ibn al-Qayyim, that he said that the munajah, the monologue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is one of the best things that Muslims should do it all the time. And especially, of course, at the time of the secret, time that you are alone. And this is the best time for munajah, is to be alone, and it's to be in secret. Nida and khafiyya, that's hide it. It's between you. And this is normal. It's usually, one of the tabi'een said, most people, they try to get with the lovers alone, and you don't want to get with Allah by yourself alone. So I'll give some examples of those, but this is actually the main thing of this week, is to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Free yourself. It's not about memorizing things and you start saying it. It's about talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your own language.
What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give some examples. The examples will be in English and Arabic, but my main point is that take those examples and start doing the munajah in your own language. The best of the dua that comes from heart, that you understand it, you're not like memorizing it, and it is in your own language. So here's one of them in a Najah that was translated that someone is asking, Ya Amali wa ya Bughyai, oh my wish and my want. By your might I find no one but you to forgive my sins, and I see none but you to mend my brokenness, Ya Jabbar. I have subjected myself to you in repeated turning. I have humbled myself to you in abasement. If you cast me out from your door, in whom shall I take shelter? If you expel me from your side, in whom shall I seek refuge? O my grief at my ignominy and disgrace. O my sorrow at my evil works and what I have committed. So you start by praising Allah and then repent. My deedful crimes have killed my heart. It became so hard. So bring it to life by a repentance from you. O Allah, give me repentance. O my hope and my aim. O my wish and my want. My God, does the runaway servant go back but to his master? Or does anyone grant sanctuary to him from his anger but he? Then you can, after that, say the freestyle, complain or ask to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is what the Prophet ﷺ said. اللهم إني أسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل يقربني إلى حبك. Oh Allah, I love you. Have you ever said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you love him? Say it from your heart. Just close your eye, put your hand in your heart, and talk to Allah. Say, I love you, Allah. Oh Allah, I love you. And I ask you to fill my heart with your love. And fill my heart with the love of all deeds that get me closer to your love. And the love of those who love you. Oh Allah, I appeal to you from the hardness of my heart. Oh Allah, you are the owner of the hearts. I ask you to soften my heart. Let it come from your heart. And then you can have another example of freestyle complaint that a sin you committed today. Say, oh Allah, today I committed such sin in ignorance. I did not do it to challenge your commands, O Allah, but I was overpowered by my desire and the devil. O Allah, I ask your forgiveness. Another complaint, someone hurt you, so oppressed you at work. O Allah, today such and such person oppressed me, and I have no one to go except you, O Allah. I refuse to you and ask you to protect me from his evil and return my right. If you cast me out from your door, in whom shall I take shelter? If you expel me from your side, in whom shall I seek refuge? O Allah. So those were some examples, but now, very good question. And this is, if you were not listening in the past, pay attention to what's coming. This is the most important part, and this is the main goal of our halaqah, in our series. How to get all your dua to be accepted all the time. Listen to this beautiful hadith narrated by Bukhari. It's very authentic hadith. And it is a hadith Qudsi that the Prophet ﷺ narrated from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet, and the Prophet narrated to us, and this is a mutawatir hadith that's very authentic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Man aada li waliyan," whoever will declare war against, I will declare war against him who shows hostility to my wali. And I will explain the entire session would be to explain what's wali. But take the word as it is. Wali is the person who's close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we will try to reach this stage. And wali, sometimes they translate it as friend, they translate it as someone close to Allah, but I want you to just memorize this word, wali. And the plural of it is awliya. So the wali is the person who is very close to Allah. It's a very special stage, and it's anyone. Some people in some other countries think that awliya salihin is just certain specific people that they worship day and night. I'll show you how to reach a wali. And I'm pretty sure that most of us, they've been through this stage. Me personally, I was in it. And I feel the sweetness being closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, the wali is not something normal. If someone show hostility, it's not that will harm him. The wali, no. Show hostility. Make him upset. Just say something bad against him. It's not even hurting him. Allah will declare war. Imagine where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is declaring war against the person on the other side of you. That he's showing hostility to you. Subhanallah, this is the best state that you will be protected from Allah. Allah will declare war. And Allah said the word 2 times. This hadith, whoever will be against my wali, and in another place, which is the riba. But imagine that Allah is protecting you to the limit that He will declare war to who will upset you. Allahumma ja'alna min awliyak. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining on the rest of the hadith how to become this wali. So He said to become a wali, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining the best thing to get closer to me, to be the wali, and I love you, the best thing, the most beloved to me is what I make obligatory in you. The obligations, the obligatories, the mandatory. Like what? Like the 5 daily prayers. Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Fasting Ramadan, being the mandatory zakah. But not only that, lowering the gaze is fard actually. It's not like sunnah or nafil. No, this is fard from Allah to lower your gaze. Allah said in the Quran, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. What else? We work all day and night to be able to take care of our family. For a male, it's obligatory in them to take care of their family, provide their sustenance, provide them home for their wife and their kids and their parents. To take care of your parents, male and female, is to take care of your parents. This is obligatory. What else? For the wife to take care of her husband. This is obligatory. All of those that we do, we work all day and night. It's not only the worship, all our life is a worship. So those are the best for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the best thing to come closer to Allah first is the obligatories. And then Allah is continuing in the hadith. وَمَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي. So this is, I imagine someone is trying to come closer to Allah step by step. And as my slave starting to get closer, trying to get more closer to me by doing more extra sunan. It's like bringing the 12 sunnah rak'ah, for example. Those are sunnah mu'akkada that the Prophet ﷺ used to do and consistently. And if he missed them, they do the qada for them. It's like 2 before Fajr, 2 before Dhuhr, and 4 after Dhuhr, 2 after Maghrib, and 2 after Isha. This is an example. Fasting, the sunnah fasting, like fasting Mondays and Thursdays, fasting 13, 14, and 15 of each month, fasting Arafah, the first 10 days of the Hijjah are coming, fasting the first 9 days of the Hijjah, those are the best days ever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that those are the dearest to Allah, and the word, whatever you do, the Prophet ﷺ said, those are the dearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you do is better than anything you can do in any other place. And those are coming soon, in 2 weeks. So I encourage everyone to start to do the best in those. Being the extra charity that's not obligatory, reading Quran, following the Sunnah in anything you do. This is getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do any Sunnah you do with the intention that you're trying to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that Allah loves you and you become His wali. It is considered sunnah that you do it extra to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like sleeping in wudu, using swag, anything that you do as a sunnah. This is considered this. And as you get closer to Allah, keep doing this, keep doing it until Allah loves you. Allah. This is the best stage. This is the entire series, is to reach this stage that until Allah loves you. And Allah is explaining in the next slide what will happen when Allah loves you. Allah saying here, فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ, when I love him, when he start getting closer to me to get my love, when I love him, فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ كُنْتُ سَمْعَهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ, I will be his sense of hearing. with which he hears. That means your hearing will be protected by Allah. You will not hear ghaiba or namima or anything bad. Your hearing will be protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَبَصَرَهُ الَّذِي يُبْصِرُ بِهِ. And it will be his sense of sight with which he sees. It will be your eyes. Your eyes will be protected. Lowering the gaze will not be a problem at this time. Because your vision is protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَدَهُ الَّتِي, and it will be your hands and your legs that you'll be protected. You will not go to some place bad, because Allah is protecting you from all of that. Actually, I felt this. It's like sometimes when one of those protected, they woke up in the morning and it's like happened, they will be someplace, they see a sign that has subhanallah, and they say subhanallah, they get rewarded. Some other people, they might go someplace buying something, they go see that suddenly their eyes comes into TV or on any other scene, and they commit zina, or they look at the haram, they get sins. So what I'm saying is that Allah will protect you from all of that. And this is the best part that is in bold and red here. And if he asks me, I will give him. In Arabic, وَلَئِن سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَنَّ. Allah is emphasizing with four things, lam and inna. So it means just, for sure, indeed, for sure, indeed, I will give him. وَلَئِن سَأَلَنِي, if he asks me for sure, لَأُعْطِيَنَّ. The lam and noon also لَأُعْطِيَنَّ, and the lam and inna in the beginning. وَلَئِن سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَ, for sure, indeed, I will give him what he asks for. That means he will answer it quickly. وَلَئِنِ اسْتَعَاذَنِي لَأُعِيذَنَّهُ. And if he asks my protection, I will protect him indeed, for sure again. That means you will be protected, and whatever you ask, Allah will answer. Subhanallah. This is, believe me, this is the best I felt before. I'm pretty sure a lot of people felt it. When you ask Allah subhanahu, that's why they said, it's like famous in our countries that they say awliya as-salihin, that whenever they ask, something is fulfilled. Yes, this happens. Can you lose it? Yes. And that's why I added, I've lost so many times. I've added in this series this time, how can you protect your heart from heedlessness and going away from losing this state? And at the end I have this, but it's only in Arabic. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah said about this hadith, this is the best hadith to explain the characteristics and how to become a wali. And then in the verse, in Surah Yunus, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Verily, indeed, for sure, those who are awliya, the wali of Allah, there is no fear. They will not get fear or grieve. See this part, they're always happy. They will not feel sadness. And then the continuation of the verses, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ, those who believe and fear Allah, لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. In this life, this is very clear. The verses are very clear. It's saying لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى, glad tidings and happiness for them in this life and in the hereafter. It's not only the hereafter, like some people think that you have a miserable life and then the hereafter you will be happy and only happiness. No, the verse is saying different. If you are wali, you'll be happy في الحياة الدنيا, this life, and in the hereafter. Those are the awliya. لا تبديل لكلمات الله. This is very strong. No one can change the words of Allah, the promise of Allah. No one ever can change the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very strong. And then at the end it's finished with beautiful. This is the supreme success. ذلك هو الفوز العظيم. There is emphasizing. This is indeed the supreme success. The best and the supreme thing, the best success is to be a wali. This is the supreme success in this life and in the hereafter. And this is the goal of our series, is to become a wali, happy in this life and in the hereafter. This is what we discussed last time and in the beginning of this lecture about the state of Ibn Taymiyyah, that his happiness is in his heart. His happiness and his paradise in his heart. This is the state of wali. And it doesn't mean that you spend all your life, it's like all the time and be in the mosque. It's different. And I've been there, I've been successful Alhamdulillah, in my work. And also, every time I ask, even if it's work, if being better, getting more money, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything, Allah accepts and fulfill my needs. It's not that that like a lot of people, they think that they have those awliya, they only stay at mosque all day and night. No, 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 this is not the sunnah. You work, you get your sustenance, you don't beg people, because this is what Allah loves. And Allah will protect you as well. So what's the wali? The state of wali is one of the very advanced stages in Madarij al-Salikin of Ibn al-Qayyim. It's the state of happiness that we will work to get in this series, inshallah, with all the steps that we'll do. And as I said, it's practical. The problem was those old books like Madarij al-Salikin or Shfa al-Ghalil or Duaa or Amrad al-Qulub, all of those for Ibn al-Qayyim, they're very hard even to understand and also to practice in today's days. Those they don't work with today's day, especially in the US culture, wherever we're living today. So what I'm going to do is to make it the practical way. I've gone through it many times, and if time I lose it, what I do to try to come closer. And the main reason I've done this is to have something that I can go back to it. Whenever I lose it, I go to heedlessness. Life can take us many times. Ghafla is written on everyone. Heedlessness. So what can we do to get closer to Allah? And every time I try multiple things until I reach this state. That's why I have it slowly. It's like if you tried, you might get to it quickly. We try to do this in Ramadan and you feel the sweetness in Ramadan, but you lose it quickly as well because you get tired. This is one of the famous doors of Satan, that he will try to get you very excited for a short period of time until you come down. It's like you when you try to build your body and do weightlifting and you try to do it all and then you exhaust the muscle, you stay in the injury for many years, you get backward actually. So that's why I'm going slowly into this. And as I said, this is a very high state, and if we reach this state, you get the happiness in your heart and protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all your dua will be accepted, inshallah. It will take time, as I said, and we'll go slowly. You will feel the change as you go. And this is what was the Madarij al-Salikin. I had this series before as purification of the heart, and I had it before as practicing Madarij al-Salikin. It's the steps that you take, the steps that was put by our ancestors, but I'm putting it only in practical way to meet those days, the current days. I will follow the dua of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sunnah. Everything is coming from the Sunnah and the proof for it. And the stories of the Sahaba. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he asked to do the dua in every Salat Witr, every night he asks for this, asks for the wilayah. We say it in the Witr, if you remember, Allahumma hadini fi man hadayt, oh Allah guide me with those who you guided, Allah afini fi man afayt, oh pardon me with those you pardoned, and then watawallani fi man tawallat, and make me wali with those awliya that you made wali. So it is watawallani. This is that make me wali, make me among the awliya. But we just don't pay attention to it. But this was that dua that the Prophet ﷺ was consistently doing it every day. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in another hadith narrated by Sahih, by Muslim, it's very authentic hadith as well, hadith Qudsi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that in the closest translation, that if my slave, if we come closer to Allah one step, Allah comes 10 times more, 10 steps. And if you try to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 10 steps, Allah is coming 20 steps in a faster pace. And if you try to come walking slowly, Allah will come in a hurry. What does this mean? That Allah is getting closer to us faster and in like more speed and more steps than you do. That's why here we will start by taking the first step. All what you need to do is take the first step. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be more. And this is also happened to all of us. You just try to come to the mosque, known good people, that pious people that will try to get you closer. Read one book, read one verse, try to memorize this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open the doors for you. All what you need to do is the first step, especially in the first 10 days of the Hajj that are coming, or in Ramadan. All those days that you try to get closer to Allah. And if you've done this step, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will get even closer, Allah closer and faster pace than you are. Now I want to discuss what are the best times of dua. So there are so many times, like the last third of the night and other things, but I will mention here three because I'm giving this lectures right now during summer. And this is very hard because the night is short and the day is long. So I'll give them things that are practically we can go through this week. So one of the best times is Friday before Maghrib, and there are tons of hadith. I will put it in the PDF on ILoveAllahAlone. You can read through those hadith. They are all authentic, and they're all talking about the last hour of Friday before Maghrib. This the dua is accepted on this time, and try to be alone and do the munajah that we talked about, the monologue with Allah, and you will feel the sweetness during this time. And Alhamdulillah, every time I ask it during that time, my dua get accepted. Alhamdulillah. After each obligatory prayer, dubar kullu salah, this is also from the time. Again, after you do the salam, because the dua and the prayer has to be in the Arabic, and it has to be certain dua that's and in the Hanafi madhab it has also to be the authentic, the known dua either from the Quran or from the Sunnah. But after you do the salam, just raise your hand and say the dua with the monologue of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the freestyle dua with your own language, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever you want and make the complaint to Allah whatever you want. Of course, the 10 days, first 10 days of the Hijjah that are coming in a couple of weeks, and especially the day of Arafah, this is the best time that the dua is accepted. So I'll mention those three things and try to get at least one of them. And whenever you remember, make dua. So what's the plan of this week? As I said, this is a practical series, and we will have things to do every week. And I will put it and post it on ILoveAllah.net, the one that you see, ILoveAllah.net/happiness. You will find the plan for each week. I have an arrow to it, it will be flashing. Just click on it. There is a PDF file that will open, and it will have the plan if you forgot it. You want to remember something of the hadith, that there will be recording of this lecture, of this week's lecture and the previous lectures, and they will be in different format. You can download it or listen to it on YouTube, and or even read it. I'll put the PDF for it. Different ways to be able to get it, and I'm trying to encourage ourselves to have this. It's a workshop, and our goal is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, get the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and be wali and have the happiness in this life and in the hereafter. So let's see the homework for this week, the plan for this week. First thing is to focus on one dua. I want you to focus on one dua. Of course, if you're doing other duas, but that's very good. But if you're adding one dua this week, add one dua which is for wali. If you just woke up and you remember to make dua for wali. If you, after the prayers, you remember suddenly you recall to make dua for wali, to be a wali in your own language. Again, the best of the dua that comes from your heart, and you understand it in your own language that can't pass by your heart. I'll give the example in English and in Arabic. My language is Arabic, so I understand it. So when I say, Allahumma ja'alni min awliyaika alladhina la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. Oh Allah, make me your wali. Make me from those awliya that you made wali. Those who do not grieve or fear nothing but you. Those whom you love and they love you. Oh Allah, I know that I don't deserve to be among those, oh Allah. But I know that you are the most generous. I ask for your generosity, oh Allah. Gift me from your generosity, oh Allah. Make me wali, just a gift from you. I don't deserve it. But I hope that you will gift it to me because you are the most generous. Just talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we said, and try to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the focus of this week, to ask this dua. Second part, as we said in the hadith, and as my slaves trying to come closer to me with nawafil and sunnah until I love him. So to be able to get the love of Allah, we will add one sunnah every week. And what can we add best than dua this week? At least to make dua for to be a wali. So we will add the habit, and every week actually we carry what we had previous week and we add to it. So the dua will continue with us. It's not that will end by the week, and we will just in this week, we'll get in the habit of making dua. And as I said, is that the dua with the monologue and in your language is the best that you can say, because this comes from your heart. Allah لا يقبل من عبد غافل الله قلب غافل الله. That if your heart is not feeling what you're saying, Allah will not accept it, because it's a dua. It's a request that you do, so it has to be coming from your heart. You understand what you're saying. So this is the sunnah that we will add this week, inshallah. And of course, this sunnah is that I want your life to be with dua. So select the times that I have. Even if it's not those times, you can't do it. Select any time that you would be alone, because then when it's the best to be alone. You don't have to be in wudu, by the way. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to face the qibla. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. They're laying on their sides, even when you are laying down on your bed, on your bed. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Some people, they think that we have to face qibla, we have to be in wudu, we have to raise our hands. No, dua is different. It's different than prayers, different than the reading Quran. You can do it in any state. Even women can do it during the period time. You don't have to be in wudu, you don't have to be in tahara. It's just the best is to ask Allah. Only the Quran you have to be in tahara, and of course all the worship like prayers and other things you have to be in wudu as well, in addition to the tahara. So what I'm saying is that this is Allah made it easy. Just ask Allah. Allah said, "Id'uni yastajib lakum." That just ask Allah in whatever state. And there is a hadith that about the person man ta'ara that you became half conscious, just you lost your cover and you just trying to get it, and you became half conscious, part of fraction of conscious, and you said certain dhikr and you made dua, it will be accepted, and then you went to sleep again. You're not in tahara, you're not in wudu, and this is authentic hadith. That's muttafaq alayh. It's very authentic hadith that you just make dua, it will be accepted, and you are actually sleeping, almost half sleep at the bed. So talk to Allah in your language and complain and ask whatever you want. Like the examples I gave previously. Until next week, I want you to aim at least once a day you make dua, and keep adding it, and we will keep adding to it. If you face difficulty, don't run to people directly. Start by complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I remember the hadith in Riyadh al-Salihin about the three that they were in cave and they got locked inside the cave. First thing they said that they made dua to Allah. I want you to be like that. Before running to people, searching for your cell phone, when you have something bad, just go to some place you are alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and start complaining to Allah. This person oppressed me. I can't do this bug. I can't solve it. This problem, I have it. I can't understand this code. Oh Allah, help me. Just go to Allah first before you go to your colleague, to other people. Go to Allah and see what will happen. I have so many examples that happened to me. I just do the Salat al-Hajjah and I go to Allah and I ask, and things get solved to me. My mind gets open. I understand things better. If you grieve and you feel sadness in your heart, just start monologue with Allah immediately, even in secret. Try to make munajah the 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes before Maghrib on Friday, as I said, and this is what we do. Is the sunnah that we add the habit, and as we add habits and new sunnah, we will change. Our life will start to change. So the new habit, try it. Just try. For this week, you have a week, try it. And until next week, you will start adding to it. You will find yourself, it became a second nature. At the beginning, it's like, I started to feel like this. It's hard because I feel that I'm totally away in ghafla and headlessness. So sometimes it's hard, but try. As you keep trying until Allah loves you. As I said, just to do the first step, Allah will come closer to you. Steps more. Well, I said that this first sunnah will add, which is the best, and here's the dalil for that, the proof for that. The Prophet ﷺ said, لَيْسَ شَيْءٌ أَكْرَمَ عَلَى اللَّهِ مِنَ الدُّعَاءِ. The best, there is nothing more generous to Allah than dua. If you do dua, even if you're asking for this life, if you're asking to have more money, to be better at work, you are generous to Allah. And this is there's nothing more generous to Allah than this. Authentic. And Allah said in this, the Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith, who does not ask Allah, Allah will be angry at him. Imagine that if you don't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will be angry at you. Allah will be angry with you if you did not ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why you need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every day. You can't stop asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ said the most disabled people, ajaz and nas, who cannot make dua. Those are the most disabled people. It's not that they're disabled in their legs or hands. No. Those who cannot make dua, those are the most disabled people. And the Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith, أفضل سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. This is the series that the lecture for today. It's about dua. This is a reference from my previous lectures as well.
And finally, the Prophet ﷺ said,
and if you see this in YouTube, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever shares something good, he will get exactly the same reward as the person did it. And there's a long hadith about four types of people. One of them is like memorize the Quran, and he's reading the Quran day and night, and he has the knowledge and he's spreading the knowledge. Another person, he can't do that. He just doesn't have enough knowledge. It says, if I have the same knowledge as this person, I will do the same thing. And the Prophet ﷺ said they have exactly the same reward. And someone rich who's spending left and right in charity, and another person who's poor, but he's saying, if I have the same money, I will have this. You get it by intention. That you get it. Also, whoever will share the good thing is exactly like the person who did it. And actually, it might be more, because the person who did it, he might be missing ikhlas, sincerity, and his riyah, but you're doing it in his behalf and spreading it. No one will know who did spread it. It's like you get more rewards, and it might keep multiplying. Another person share, another person share. It might at the end become sadaqah jariyah, continuous charity that will be the knowledge that you leave after your death. Even if you are in grave, you might meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and find tons, mountains of rewards. You have not done it. And when you ask and you found this simple thing that you share. So I please share it. If you hit subscribe, like and share, if it has more subscribers and more likes, actually it will get more hits. May Allah make it be good for someone, that it might guide someone, that you will be happy, as the Prophet ﷺ said, it's the best thing is to make one of your brothers happy. And please subscribe and activate the alarm so that you get alert whenever there's something new. And also visit ILoveAllah.net. Everything will be posted there, and I post even the plan for the week, and I put different formats, the PDF format, written format, MP4, and a link to the YouTube. So please try to share and try to make da'wah and give it to someone else. They might benefit from it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. And the Prophet ﷺ said, this is a beautiful hadith. He said, الدعاء هو العبادة. Dua is the ibadah, the worship. Why? It's strange, right? There are prayers, there are hajj. No, الدعاء هو is the worship. Because look at the word ibadah. What's the root from it is ubudiyah. It's from abd, not slave. So what are the characteristics of slave? We are all slaves of Allah, but what are the characteristics of slave? They are always weak in need for their master. So when you do the dua, you're showing Allah that you are true slave, you are in need to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why dua is the best representation of ubudiyah, of ibadah, of worship. Ibadah comes from ubudiyah.